Hey warriors, welcome back to the channel. I once watched my closest friend destroy himself trying to be the good guy. He gave everything. He forgave endlessly. He sacrificed his peace for people who barely remembered his name. 3 years later, I saw him again. He wasn't broken anymore. He was ruthless. And he said something that burned itself into my mind. The world didn't change, I did. I stopped being easy to break. That line stayed with me, because deep down I realized something terrifying. This wasn't just his story. It was mine, and it's yours. Right now, there are two versions of you living inside your mind. Version 1 is the one who explains too much, apologizes even when they're not wrong, tolerates disrespect, keeps hoping people will change. You bend over backwards to be understood, respected, loved. But the more you give, the less they value you. Then there's version 2, the silent one, the grounded one, the one who doesn't argue, doesn't beg, doesn't chase. They don't react, they remove, without noise, without guilt. You've been living as version 1 for far too long, and it's destroying you. It made you soft where you should have been sharp, kind where you should have been calculated. Machiavelli once wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if one cannot be both." He wasn't preaching cruelty. He was teaching control. He was explaining the moment you must stop being the person who shatters for others. Today, I'm going to show you how to awaken version 2, the ruthless version of you, the version Machiavelli warned the world about, the version people feel but can never manipulate. There are 8 internal shifts that separate these two versions of you. Each one will demand the death of a part of your old identity. Each one will feel like burning who you used to be. But if you stay until the end, you won't recognize yourself anymore. You'll stop seeking peace from people and start producing it from within. You'll understand the power of becoming untouchable, because this world will break you unless you become ruthless. Before we begin, drop this in the comments. I will not break again. 1. Stop giving yourself to the ungrateful. The first step toward ruthlessness begins with one brutal realization. Your weakness was never your heart. It was where you placed it. You've been bleeding your energy into people who feed on your light, but never return it. You kept helping, forgiving, explaining, hoping that maybe one day they'd finally recognize your worth. They never did. Why? Because in the psychology of power, what is freely given is subconsciously devalued. People instinctively confuse generosity with low value. If you give too easily, they assume you need approval, and the moment someone senses your need, they own you. That's how weakness is created, not through failure, but through emotional dependence disguised as kindness. Machiavelli warned, men are quicker to offend one who is loved than one who is feared. The ungrateful exploit your goodness because they don't fear losing it. They know you'll stay. They know you'll forgive. They know you'll justify their disrespect with excuses like, they're just going through something. That isn't compassion. That's self-betrayal. Here's the truth most people never accept. People remember pain, not kindness. They respect consequences, not explanations. Every time you tolerated disrespect, you trained them to see you as replaceable. Every time you explained your value, you proved you had to earn it. This is why good people get destroyed first. Not because they're kind, but because they mistake kindness for harmlessness. The ungrateful are predators in human form. They don't hunt your body. They hunt your guilt. They weaponize your empathy. They make you feel selfish for protecting yourself, then stab you with the compassion you showed them. So stop believing you owe loyalty just because you once cared. Your care is a privilege, not a right. Give it only to those who earn it through consistent respect. Everyone else deserves your absence. Detachment is your defense. Indifference is your revenge. Machiavelli understood this when he wrote, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, and covetous." He wasn't being pessimistic. He was being prepared. Never hand power to the ungrateful. They will use it to drain you. You must unlearn the lie that being good will save you. Goodness without boundaries is a slow execution. Ruthlessness isn't cruelty. It's correction. It's the moment you stop rewarding betrayal with access. When you stop answering every call, stop forgiving every lie, Stop explaining your silence. That's when the ungrateful panic, because they can't feed on your emotional reactions anymore. That's when power shifts. You become the one who decides who matters, and who disappears into irrelevance. The world belongs to those who conserve their energy like a weapon, not those who waste it like a wish. Every ounce of strength you give to the wrong people is power stolen from your future. Take it back. Store it. Rebuild yourself. Let them wonder where your warmth went. Tell them it froze the moment you saw the truth. Some people deserve your distance more than your devotion. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. My kindness has limits. Number 2, turn pain into power. Pain is the most honest teacher you will ever face. It doesn't lie to you. It doesn't protect your ego. It doesn't care about your reasons or excuses. Pain exposes you. It strips you down. It burns everything weak inside you until only what's real is left. The difference between those who are broken and those who become powerful is not how much pain they felt. It's what they did with it. Weak minds drown in pain because they keep searching for fairness. They still believe the world owes them healing. They wait for sympathy. They demand justice. Ruthless minds understand the truth. Pain is currency. You either invest it in building yourself, or you waste it by complaining. Those who rise from destruction aren't lucky. They're strategic. They look at betrayal, heartbreak, rejection, failure, and instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" they ask, "What is this teaching me about power and control?" Machiavelli said, "Never waste the opportunity offered by a good crisis." Every moment of suffering is an invitation to evolve into someone untouchable. Pain is not punishment. Pain is information. It reveals exactly where your weakness lives. Every betrayal shows you who you trusted without limits. Every rejection exposes where you tied your worth to others. Every loss destroys the illusion that anything was permanent. When you begin to see pain through this lens, it stops being a wound and becomes a weapon. You no longer let it break you. You let it sharpen you. The dark psychology of transformation is simple. Turn suffering into strategy. Most people cry so they can feel better. The strong reflect so they can become stronger. When they're hurt, they don't chase closure. They create leverage. They don't obsess over enemies. They study them. They don't escape their mistakes. They dissect them. Every heartbreak becomes emotional discipline. Every disappointment becomes focus. This is Machiavellian resilience. Using the world's cruelty as fuel, not allowing it to become chains. Pain is the forge where dominance is created. When life breaks you, it is revealing who you are without masks. Stop running from it. Sit with it. Absorb it. Feel every ounce of that fire. Because once you survive your own suffering, no one else can control you with fear. The moment you stop fearing pain, you become unpredictable, and unpredictability is power. When others try to manipulate you with guilt, rejection, or withdrawal, it no longer works. You've already faced worse and survived. Machiavelli believed a wise man learns more from misfortune than from comfort. Because pain awakens awareness. It forces evolution. It destroys illusion. You start seeing people as they are, not as you hoped they would be. You choose logic over emotion, observation over reaction. The more you endure, the less reactive you become. You move differently, like someone who has walked through fire and lived. That energy commands respect. People feel it the moment you enter a room. The presence of someone who turned wounds into wisdom. You no longer hide your scars. You wear them as armor. Your silence grows heavy. Your gaze steady. That's when you know the shift has happened. You are no longer shaped by pain. You shape others through what you've endured. The next time life hurts you, don't curse it. Study it. Ask yourself, what advantage is hidden here? Because every moment of agony carries the seed of dominance, if you are ruthless enough to use it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My pain builds power. Number 3, kill the need to be understood. The desire to be understood is one of the most dangerous traps for a powerful mind. It keeps you chained to mediocrity. You keep explaining yourself, hoping people will see your intentions, your goodness, your truth. Here's the brutal reality. Most people don't want to understand you. They want to label you. They don't listen to comprehend. They listen to detect weakness. The more you explain, the more material you hand them, and they will use it against you. In dark psychology, understanding equals leverage. When people know your motives, they know how to pull your strings. That is why the ruthless remain silent. They allow others to guess, to project, to assume, and inside that confusion, they stay untouchable. Machiavelli warned, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. And to command you must never over-explain." Explaining is defensive behavior. It reveals that you are still seeking approval. Power does not justify itself. Power simply exists. The most intimidating individuals are not the loudest. They are the least explainable. They don't clarify why they act. They don't defend how they feel. They don't announce why they disappear. Their silence creates tension. That tension creates respect. The weak beg to be understood. The strong accept being misunderstood. Understand this clearly. The moment you stop defending yourself, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is fear's closest ally. People cannot control what they cannot read. That is why rulers, leaders, and strategists throughout history mastered ambiguity. They spoke less than they knew. They acted more than they explained. You must do the same. Every time you rush to explain your intentions, you reveal the blueprint of your emotions. You teach others exactly how to disarm you. The danger of complete transparency is that it invites dissection, and dissection always kills the mystique of power. Machiavelli wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." The wise stop justifying themselves early. The fool keeps talking until he is exposed. You owe no one clarity about your choices. You owe no one an explanation for your distance, your silence, your standards, or your evolution. Let them misunderstand you. Let them assume you've become cold, arrogant, detached. Every false label they place on you adds another layer to your armor. The moment you stop correcting them, you reclaim control, because control lives in restraint. Silence is not weakness. Silence is disciplined composure turned into a weapon. It unsettles people. They can't predict your next move, and uncertainty forces caution. That is psychological dominance. Think about the most powerful people you've ever encountered. They weren't loud. They were grounded. Their presence commanded attention, not because they demanded it, but because they didn't need to. Every word they withheld carried more weight than 1,000 explanations. You must become that presence, a mystery no one fully understands, a storm that never announces itself. When someone tries to provoke you, let your silence suffocate their ego. When someone misjudges you, let them drown in their own assumptions. Your truth is a weapon. Don't waste it proving your innocence. Those who require explanations don't deserve them. Those who truly value you will never ask. Power is not about convincing others. It's about becoming so self-assured that their confusion no longer matters. And once you stop needing to be understood, you finally begin to understand yourself. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence speaks power. Number 4, detach. Don't beg. The moment you beg for attention, love, or closure, power turns into slavery. The more you chase what is already walking away, the smaller you become in the eyes of those who never planned to value you. Detachment is not coldness. Detachment is control. It is the discipline of walking away from anything that threatens your self-respect, no matter how badly you wanted it. Most people confuse attachment with loyalty. They are not the same. Loyalty is strength. Attachment is dependence. You were taught that fighting for people proves love, but in dark psychology, the one who chases always loses power. Begging for time, affection, reassurance, or attention is a public announcement of weakness, and weakness invites exploitation. Machiavelli warned, "He who is not master of himself cannot be master of others." When your emotions rule you, you are easy to control. The ruthless detach not because they feel nothing, but because they refuse to be owned by what they feel. When someone pulls away, they don't argue. They don't explain. They observe. When someone disrespects them, they don't plead. They disappear. Silence becomes their blade. Absence becomes their statement. In a world addicted to emotional manipulation, detachment is rebellion. It terrifies manipulators because it cuts off their only source of power, your reaction. The moment you stop reacting, you become unreadable. And when you are unreadable, you become feared. The secret weapon of the powerful is not anger. It is indifference. Indifference burns colder than hate and survives longer than love. When people can no longer predict how you'll respond, they lose control over your mind. That's when your energy shifts. You stop being the one who waits and become the one who decides. Those who once ignored you begin to feel your silence. Because silence from someone who used to react is louder than any confrontation. Detachment gives you a strange authority, the authority to walk away from chaos without losing your peace. Machiavelli believed emotional control was the foundation of all rule. Those who cannot detach will always be controlled by those who can. He said, "Men are driven by two impulses, love and fear. Master your attachment, and you control both." The ruthless understand one thing clearly. Not everyone deserves access. Not every emotion deserves expression. Not every relationship deserves revival. Learn to withdraw your energy without explanation. Close doors quietly. Let your distance feel final. That is psychological warfare in its most elegant form. The more you detach, the more power returns to you. You realize peace is not found in connection. It is found in control. True strength is loving deeply and still walking away the moment your self-respect is threatened. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care correctly, about yourself first. Because when you stop begging, you stop bleeding. And when you stop bleeding, no one can feed on you again. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose peace over people. Number 5. Boundaries are your armor. Boundaries are the invisible walls that separate power from chaos. Without them, your life becomes open territory. Anyone can enter, take what they want and leave you empty. You were taught that saying no is selfish, that setting limits makes you unkind. That is a lie. The absence of boundaries is self-betrayal. Every time you tolerate disrespect, every time you forgive without consequence, every time you allow lines to be crossed to keep the peace, you surrender pieces of yourself. Weak people confuse tolerance with strength. The ruthless know the truth. A heart without armor is a target. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince who is not wise himself cannot be well advised." The meaning is simple. If you do not protect yourself, no one else will. The world does not reward openness. It exploits it. The same people who smile at your kindness today will test your limits tomorrow. Unchecked human desire always pushes boundaries. Boundaries are not walls to isolate you. They are gates that protect what is sacred. They are not cruelty. They are clarity. And clarity terrifies manipulators because it destroys their leverage. In dark psychology, boundaries are tools of dominance. The one who enforces them controls the terms of every relationship. When you say no calmly and without guilt, you project authority. When you remove access after betrayal, you declare your worth non-negotiable. The powerful do not debate respect. They enforce it through distance. Forgiveness without consequence is submission. Mercy without structure breeds chaos. The moment you stop rewarding bad behavior with your presence, you silence those who once disrespected you. The insecure will call it arrogance. The weak will call it ego. The wise will recognize it as self-command. Machiavelli also warned, "He who allows himself to be deceived is deserving of deception." People treat you the way you allow them to. When you guard your space like a fortress, parasites disappear. Noise fades. Peace returns. That's when you discover who truly values you. Those who respect your boundaries instead of resenting them. Boundaries attract quality and repel corruption. They filter loyalty from opportunism, integrity from manipulation. They make your presence earned, not available. To live without boundaries is to live without dignity. To live with them is to command your life with quiet authority. The ruthless understand this. Kindness without defense invites destruction, so they build walls, not from fear, but from wisdom, because the goal is not to be liked. The goal is to be respected. Remember this. Every boundary you set is a declaration. This is where my peace begins. And those who truly value you will never ask you to lower your armor. They will stand outside it. With respect. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My boundaries protect me. Number 6. Master the art of silence. Silence is the weapon the powerful reach for when words lose their worth. Most people fear silence because it exposes their lack of control. They talk to fill emptiness. They speak to prove confidence. They make noise to seek validation. But every unnecessary word you release becomes ammunition for someone else's manipulation. The wise understand this. In a world addicted to noise, silence is dominance. Machiavelli warned, "Never reveal all your thoughts, for it makes you predictable and vulnerable." The moment people can read your emotions, they can calculate your reactions. And whoever can predict you can control you. Silence makes you unreadable. It creates an atmosphere of mystery that forces others to doubt themselves. The quiet man in the room always holds more power than the one begging to be noticed. In dark psychology, silence is not emptiness. It is strategy. It shifts control without confrontation. When you say nothing, others say everything. They expose their motives, their insecurities, their weaknesses, all while trying to understand you. The ruthless listen more than they speak, observe more than they explain, act more than they promise. The weak rush to prove their point. The strong wait for the precise moment to move. Every pause you hold increases your authority. Every silence you maintain forces others to surrender information. Machiavelli believed power thrives on perception. The less people know about your intentions, the more they fear them. Silence creates psychological tension. Others begin projecting their fears onto you. They wonder what you're thinking, what you'll do next. That uncertainty grants invisible control. Silence is not absence. It is presence intensified. You don't need to shout to be heard. Restraint speaks louder than chaos. The loud crave power. The silent already possess it. History's rulers understood this truth. The less you reveal, the more others imagine. The more they imagine, the more they obey. Weaponize your calm. Let silence become your language. When insulted, say nothing, and watch guilt unravel them. When provoked, offer no reaction, and let desperation expose them. Your silence will echo louder than any argument. People expect noise. They fear stillness, because stillness contains control. Machiavelli said, "The fool defends himself with words. The wise man guards himself with silence." The moment you stop explaining, you stop playing defense and start commanding the game. Power doesn't beg to be understood. It demands to be felt. Silence makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability breeds respect. When you learn to hold your tongue, you learn to hold your power. And in a world where everyone wants to be heard, the one who masters silence becomes impossible to defeat. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence controls chaos. Number 7. Never show full loyalty. Loyalty is only power when it is selective. The moment you give it blindly, it becomes your cage. Machiavelli warned that men are ungrateful, fickle, and deceitful. To expect pure loyalty is to invite betrayal. Power belongs to those who know when to align and when to withdraw. The world is not moved by goodness. It is moved by strategy. When you give absolute loyalty to a friend, a mentor, a leader, you surrender independence. Devotion is mistaken for weakness, not virtue. The loyal are predictable, and predictability is death in the game of power. Dark psychology teaches this clearly. Loyalty must be calculated, never emotional. True Machiavellian loyalty is conditional. It serves your growth, your protection, your rise. The moment it stops doing that, it must be questioned. Most people remain loyal out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of losing approval, fear of being judged. These are the same people who are discarded when they are no longer useful. The powerful don't attach themselves to people. They attach themselves to opportunity. They know alliances shift like tides. They don't resist. They adapt. Your loyalty should be a mask, not your identity. You wear it when it benefits you. You remove it when it becomes a liability. This is not cruelty. It is realism. Machiavelli wrote, "A wise man must never make himself dependent on one person or one thing. Dependence kills autonomy. And autonomy is the root of dominance. Never reveal where your true allegiance lies. Let others believe you stand with them, while remaining internally free. The illusion of loyalty is often more powerful than loyalty itself. It keeps others comfortable, while keeping you untouchable. Empires are built this way. Kings fall by trusting too deeply. Subordinates are destroyed by serving too faithfully. When you are too loyal, people test you, exploit you. Stop fearing your withdrawal. Fear maintains order. When people know you can walk away without hesitation, your loyalty becomes a privilege, not an expectation. Give loyalty like a weapon, sharp, deliberate, and controlled. Never give it like a gift. Gifts are forgotten. Weapons are remembered. This mindset makes you unpredictable, the ultimate psychological advantage. They cannot manipulate what they cannot define. This is Machiavellian power. Loyal in appearance, sovereign in reality. The world will call this cold. Those words come from the powerless. Remember this. Loyalty without strategy is self-betrayal. Your allegiance belongs to your purpose, not to people who come and go. Number 8, become untouchable. This is the final evolution of power. Untouchable means no insult, no betrayal, no manipulation. Can pierce your armor. This is not arrogance. It is sovereignty. The world will always bring chaos. People will test you. Circumstances will never bend to your desires. The weak break. The fearful react. The unprepared collapse. But the untouchable move like shadows, unshaken, unowned, unmoved. Machiavelli wrote, "He who is master of himself is truly free." Freedom begins with inner dominance. To become untouchable, you must abandon the chase for approval, love, and validation. These are illusions, chains disguised as comfort. The world does not reward kindness. It respects power, self-possession, and clarity. When you stop feeding your ego through others, you reclaim your energy. That energy becomes a fortress. The untouchable build themselves deliberately. They invest in skill, discipline, and strategy, not applause. Their confidence is quiet, their authority invisible. Dark psychology reveals this truth. People fear what they cannot control. Once you detach from expectation, reaction, and the need to be loved, you become a psychological enigma. No strings, no levers, no handles. The untouchable do not act emotionally. They act strategically. Anger is measured, fear irrelevant, desire disciplined. Every reaction is intentional, every silence deliberate. You become the axis around which chaos spins. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Fear here is not terror, it is awareness, the understanding that crossing you has a cost. Untouchability is hesitation in others before they test you. No betrayal can unsettle you, no insult can move you. You are no longer shaped by opinions. You are the product of strategy and will. To reach this level, shed the final chains. The need to explain, the need to forgive endlessly, the need to be recognized. Rise above attachment and resentment. The untouchable do not flinch, because they are anchored within, and anchors do not move with the storm. At this level, power becomes effortless. People sense it instinctively. They respect it or fear it, but they cannot ignore it. You are no longer a participant in manipulation. You are the standard. You move through the world untouchable, because you have mastered the only thing that ever mattered, yourself. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Nothing can break me. Final words. The world will try to break you. It will betray your trust, test your patience, and punish your kindness. It will teach you that fairness is a myth, and people are unreliable. For too long, you gave your peace away. That ends now. You have the blueprint. You stopped giving to the ungrateful. You turned pain into power. You killed the need to be understood. You detached, built boundaries, mastered silence. You learned loyalty as strategy, and became untouchable. None of this is luck. None of it is easy. But every step removes the world's leverage over you. Machiavelli said, "The wise man acts at once. The fool delays." Today you chose wisdom. You chose control. You chose disciplined ruthlessness. This is the version of you The world cannot bend, manipulate, or break. The road ahead will test you, but now every trial becomes a tool. Stand firm. Move without apology. Command without announcement. Rise without permission. The world will notice only after you are untouchable. If this guide added value, like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more strategies to become stronger, sharper, and unbreakable. You are no longer the one who bends. You are the one who rules. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I'm untouchable now.